Are we gonna have another Dongwon?
Oh, let's go. Oh man, I miss Hydra. I miss him so much. He opened up, if you remember,
Those were the days.
he opened up a bar
He did.
across the road
It
from the
was like
GSL
across
studio.
the yeah.
Now I want some chicken.
Invited like KFC.
KFC. It works the other way too. It could be Korean fried chicken, you know?
Yeah. Korean fried chicken and beer. It's a classic.
Yeah, it's what Hydra sells.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. It's really popular there.
It really is. It really is. As we are diving into the one of many times these two players have faced off against each other in these weeklies here in KungFu Cup Round 3.
Indeed. We are going to be kicking it off on Babylon. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand quarter. We have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea, representing Dragon Kai Z Gaming DKG. We have Dark.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Dragon Kai Z Gaming. It is herO.
With the cake.
Oh yeah, with the double cakes. Oh boy, and yeah, we'll see how this series does progress. We've been seeing a lot of versatility, a lot of variety from these two players. herO has been showing some hyper-aggressive styles with Glaive Adepts. He's been showing off some hyper-defensive styles with Skytoss as well, and even just some straight-up herO style. I think the last time we casted these two face off against each other, herO went for a Mass Oracle Charge All-In. It was disgusting. That was like 2 weeks ago.
I vaguely remember that. I'm pretty sure I pushed it out of my memory. But it did happen.
Yeah, it was on Dragon Scales, if I remember correctly. It was terrifying, and herO was able to win that series in the end. But that was that week, and now it's this week, and these two players, they do go back and forth.
Yeah, they face each other so often, and it's never been one-sided. I think that is kind of cool thing about this. I'm not sure if I want to call it a rivalry, if it only happens in weekly events, but yeah, that is the cool thing about seeing them happen so often. If we're gonna see it happen, if we're gonna see this matchup all the time, we might as well see a different result each time.
True. Yeah, I can't remember the last time it went 3-0 or 2-0 either way. Like, usually it's a full series, but we'll see if that is going to be the case here. So far, nothing too crazy. herO just forcing the unnatural natural out of Dark, and herO likewise just going for his gate expand, just choosing his tech of choice.
Not pulling out anything too crazy for now, which is disappointing, but also understandable.
Is going to be going for that Stargate opener. Now, typically this would be for Oracles, but it's herO, and he has been known to mix it up with a Phoenix first or a Void Ray first as well. So we'll keep an eye on that, as before that happens, Dark is making a big swell of links.
Yeah, 8 lings, and for any other player, I would say that's a huge amount, but knowing that it is Dark, I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't looking to commit with anything, isn't looking to commit to anything with only these 8 lings, and he is just trying to, and will just be trying to contain herO for as long as possible.
And here we go, the lings are moving out on the map. The two adepts do bypass them, actually, do get behind them, and Ling speed is going to kick in a couple of seconds. Hey, Dark wants to try to slip it in, but no, herO spots him, and he does come back home with his adepts.
Yeah, the wall was not a wall, but there were not enough lings to really get anything done here. So Dark retreats, regroups with the rest of his army, and once again is just going to be here to stop a 3rd expansion, if possible.
Yeah, really nice scouting there by herO. So what was happening is, we've seen it before. I think Dark did it against Creator a couple of, last time we saw him, where because the adepts move out, the wall isn't a wall, the lings get in and they kill the pylon, or they kill a couple of probes, they wreak some havoc and get a free scout of the main base as well. So it was really cool to see herO take note of that, recognize what was happening, and pull back in time and deny the lings.
I think we saw that in we saw that move kind of hitting other regions as well. If I remember correctly, in STC we saw that happening.
Oh yeah, yeah, we did see that during the
It was
Sparking Tune.
Vanya? Oh,
I think
not Vanya. Sorry, Wayne.
It's okay. It's confusing because he's actually Vanya in the Korean server right now. So
He is, yeah. And Ratata on the bracket. So.
yeah, God, I'm shaking my head. But regardless, you know, Soul Defense initially. Now the next is thrown down here for herO. He can meet up with his Adepts, with his Oracles. The third Oracle is zooming across the map. As he moves out, the Lings do push in. Oh.
But the Oracle chases them away. Dark now recognizes that hero's coming out for me. I do need to take this seriously. He made a big wave of Lings to try to catch Adepts, but did he overmake Lings, or is he overmaking Lings is going to be the question.
Oh, you know the answer. The answer is yes, because we have a very fast Baneling that's being thrown down here by Dark, so he wants to shut down the Adepts, and he wants to counterattack as well, bust into towards the third base, or even into the natural, and do economic damage.
And now that he's recognized that, wait, herO did not invest too hard into his Adepts, he only has this many and without glaives, I need to make use of these Lings as quickly as possible. Goes across the map, forces a cancel on the shield battery, but he's going to have to wait until his Banelings pop out before he can really cause any major damage.
Yeah, and here we go. The Banelings are on the way. The Lings do force the activation of the Pulsar Beam already here, so herO is running out of energy and he knows he's in danger. He throws down the shield battery. He throws down cannons as well. We are walking the Queens across the map.
And Dark is now fully committed to his all-in. He has stopped droning a while ago, stopping at 38 drones, and he is doing nothing but holding down that Z key. A wall of Banelings crash into Stalkers and shield batteries, and he is able to take them out, but that was not a very efficient use of Banelings.
Yeah, the overcharge just now gets off the Stalkers. Oh, almost get caught out, but it looks like Dark, he's caught between two mines here. He's thinking about whether he wants to break the third or maybe even push into the natural. Now overcharge has run out.
Yeah, but so has the cannon, and so has a couple of backup shield batteries. Queens are doing whatever they can to chase away the Oracles. He will be able to get a kill on some of these. Ooh, warping in buildings. That's a little bit of a victory here for Dark, but he needs way more than that. Lings are getting us around on top of these Stalkers. Shield batteries are completely out of energy, but the Oracles are not. Queens have gone down, and Dark, when it's all said and done, was able to trade against gateway units, get a couple of shield batteries, and only 3 probes.
Only 3 probes. That is the most detrimental thing here right now, is Dark invested so heavily into the all-in, into killing herO, and it's all-in for a reason, because if it doesn't work, then you're just in a terrible position. Dark is miles behind. Look at the worker count, look at the base count as well. He's just now working on his 4th base, and he doesn't have any other tech either. He doesn't have a Roach Warren. He's just now working on +1 melee. He's gonna try and transition out of this, but yeah, that push didn't really do much at all.
Yeah, it's as the old saying goes, when you go for an all-in, you have to be in, otherwise you're out.
That is typically the case. We'll see if Dark can come back here. I mean, a big reason as to why herO was able to defend so well, as you saw, we did see a revelation on the Queens. herO was able to see this push very early on and start preparing back at home with his shield batteries, with his cannons, with his defensive position. So, yeah, herO, with some great scouting information, was able to determine that. Meanwhile, Dark is just going to try and drone up as heavily as possible, and herO's going to be working on his own push.
Yeah, ball is definitely in herO's court right now. He isn't feeling too pressured to push into Dark, but like you said, he is still building up for that next stage. Gateway Explosion is about to finish up right now. Robo Base on the way to get a couple of Disruptors to really round off his splash damage. Oh, am I dropping?
Oh, who is it? Oh, no!
No! Oh, Inu!
Oh, feels bad.
Vengeance from Showtime.
Feels bad, man. Inu, for those wondering, he is the Korean caster, and hopefully everything's okay as we are brought back into the game. And if we do get another lag spike, then Inu may have to leave the game.
Hopefully that doesn't happen here.
Yeah. It's often, you know, things like internet can be out of our hands. Like I've been there, you've been there as well. Like where sometimes the game crashes as well. Like it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
But regardless, I do see a 4th base on the way. Dark is gonna try and deny it, but The Archons are here, the Oracles are here as well, and Dark just doesn't find an opening. He has been able to drone quite heavily. He's still behind in the worker count. He still hasn't been mining much for as long as herO, but he's trying to be as active as possible, and he's trying to catch back up with his army going into roaches.
Yeah, pretty much the typical response here in a ZvP, and the extra typical Dark response as well. It is kind of unit he's been known for.
Oh yeah, the roach is his bread and butter. Meanwhile, behind this, the fourth is just getting up and running, fully saturated here. We're going to be on an even base count between the Protoss and the Zerg, which is never a good thing for the Zerg player. And herO is pumping out those disruptors.
One by one. 'Tis the Roach Demolisher. Demolisher? No, Exterminator. That's what I was thinking of.
It's the Zerg Exterminator.
Evaporator?
Just kills everything, Bobby. And here we go. Hero's going to be looking to push on in, but Dark does have quite a lot of supply here. A lot of links going in from behind.
Yeah, and honestly, this army isn't that well versed to go after too much of anything. Although, saying that, the Lings do immediately evaporate to 4 Archons. Dark, unfortunately, not able to deal with them quickly enough. And herO presses forward.
Yeah, it was like we saw a massive surround, we saw a lot of Lings, and then in like a couple of seconds, every Ling died. It was crazy. It was actually insane how quickly the tide turned in favor of herO, and that just goes to show his upgrade advantage as well with +2 on all of his units. And here we go, he's pushing on forward, zoning away the army. Nova is going to connect.
Handful of roaches go down, and great force fields will force a lot of these Banelings into a choke point that can easily be dealt with by the Archons. herO doesn't want to overextend just yet. These Archons are starting to get a little bit low, and they are very expensive units. He has lost his gateway buffer, but reinforcements are on the way.
You know, how would this be different if this Prism was with the army? I just have to... The Prism has been down here for quite some time, and I'm worried that herO forgot. There we go. He hasn't forgotten about it. He does unsiege. He's going into the main base, but the Queens do deny him. And hopefully he does come back to his army, because it's not just to reinforce, but also to help micro control and protect those Archons and Disruptors.
Yeah, we'll see how herO decides to utilize that, as for the time being, he is just using it as a warping point. Poor Zealot going down to the Purification Nova, but it is alright in the end here for herO. He is still trading decently well. Zealots decide not to fight the main army and instead go for a little bit of harass here in the 4th base location.
Yeah, drones are going to be going down. The Prism still active here at the would-be 5th base. Dark, though, he's holding quite well. But with herO's advantage, you have to be wondering, what has he been doing with it this entire time? Oh, well, we have Skytoss.
Obviously, yeah. We have Skytoss, we have a 5th base on the way to just further extend that lead. And while Dark has been doing a really, really good job, like, it's insane how well he's been able to defend against Disruptors and Archons with only roaches and Lings so far, but he has zero answer whatsoever to the carriers and to the motherships that are coming out. Although saying that, I do recall Dark nailing some very, very impressive biles on medevacs the other day, so
true.
Maybe if he gets enough Ravagers, he can do that.
Just bile the carrier's forehead, that's all you... I mean, again...
you know, when they're clubbed together like that...
It's one of those things where it's been really impressive to see Dark survive, but he's only been surviving. And he is maxed out, don't get us wrong, but he's maxed out to face a ground toss army. He's not ready for what's coming next, and that's just because of the lead that herO had early on. And now the carriers are about to reveal themselves, and Dark can't even make anything that shoots up right now. He is maxed.
Yeah, and he only has 8 Ravagers, which I don't think is going to be enough to deal with those carriers.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think even 20 Ravagers are enough.
Oh, we have a massive Baneling run right here on the right-hand side. Over on the left, we do see the Roach Ravager pushing in as well. So Dark, he knows that he has to get rid of the Roach Ravager. He knows he has to trade the supply in some way, and he's trading quite well.
Yeah, actually able to nail some of these biles on top of Archons. So some very, very juicy Purification Novas. Dark is starting to clear up a lot of workers, a lot of probes, but it may just be too little too late here.
Yeah, he gets a mineral line here. for his entire army. He had split it in half, but he didn't really deal too much damage here at the triangular third base, and he's just running everything he has across the map, desperately trying to find some damage here as he runs past the Sky Toss.
Which isn't a terrible idea, you know, Dark can't really produce anything that shoots up, he cannot fight the Sky Toss army, but it's also very immobile, so he can try to bypass it and try to just force a little bit of a base trade. He is now making a lot of queens, but even he knows that that's not going to be enough. GG is called, and herO takes game number 1.
GG, well played. Again, it's always really difficult to come back after you fail an all-in, and Dark was surviving, don't get us wrong, but herO, it was so smart of him to capitalize on his advantage in that way and just quickly tech up into Sky Toss, just bypass all this ground toss shenanigans, knowing that he had that lead.
Yeah, it really just goes to show how far ahead he was after deflecting the initial all-in coming out from Dark. At that point, Dark was no longer in.
Oh, he was no longer in, as we're just getting ready for our next lobby. Hopefully we can all join as well.
Yep, hold on.
Yeah, I had to leave the party as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, remaking that coming down.
Oh, good.
And yeah, it's I gotta admit, like, I had a little bit of hope in my eyes when Dark was making a lot of Ravagers there, and despite the Sky Toss coming out, I have seen Dark kill Sky Toss with, what does that say? Ravager many times.
Solid copy pasta. You love to see it. Yeah, I have as well. Unfortunately, again, just from that position, no, not necessarily with the best economy either. I mean, you were kind of mentioning it as it was happening. Dark was really having a hard time taking a 5th base as well, just because of all the harass and all the chaos. Like, it was just rough from the get-go there. But hopefully, we can fight back here as we get into game number 2.
Yeah, this time on quite a bit of a different map, and one that doesn't really encourage all-ins. Hopefully we see that reflected in how our players play this out, as we jump into game number 2 here on Royal Blood. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He's, of course, going to be representing KranKy Gaming, DKG. He is Dark.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing KranKy Gaming, currently leading the series 1-0. It is herO.
Not to be confused with herO. Or herO.
Or hero.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's another one that we're not thinking of.
Probably, yeah. Or Zero.
Or Zero.
Brood War.
True. That was one of my heroes. There's a Zerg hero in Brood War. Yeah.
There was. Wait, did the hero... Wait, didn't he... Nah, the hero that we're looking at right now, DKZ hero, did he play Zerg in Brood War?
I don't know. But I know I'm thinking of a different hero. I know that much at least.
Yeah, there were a few of them.
Oh my god. I haven't thought about Team Liquid's hero in a long time until we casted until I casted Gemini.
Until we casted Gemini. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like, I'd almost forgotten because I was going into like some backstory on Gemini, and I was talking about how Trap, and then like I had like a memory unlocked, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yep.
He liked someone before Trap, didn't he? I was like, oh yeah.
There was somebody else.
Oh my god. Not the most unique name when it comes to pro gamer titles, but he's our hero. That's what
very unique player.
Yeah. True. You love to see it.
Man. Yeah, still remember back in the day when I don't remember who he was up against in IEM Cologne where he just juggled an immortal that had at the end of the game had 200 kills or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember who he played
against.
He
ended up losing that game, but it was a PvZ, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember the cast. I remember the cast itself and how hype it was. Ay. yeah, the good old days. I'll always remember when MC joined CJ Entus and they were like,
oh,
yeah, they would interact with each
and
other.
he and herO were like,
yeah.
the two aces of CJ and
yeah, it was a weird moment where it's like, you know that was like competition for the ace a little bit. Like MC wasn't as dominant, but he had these really good moments in Pro League.
Every now and then.
There you go. Go ahead.
Yes, and now, as we're getting into the aces of DKZ, we're looking at herO going for another Oracle opening coming out right now, and Dark still playing fairly standard, all things considered.
Yeah, once again, just a Hatchcast pool opener here from Dark. He's got his third base on the way as well, as we would expect. And it was really a little bit later on when we realized that Dark was going to be going for an all-in. This time he also didn't make a flood of links either to try and get into the natural, so he's playing this a little bit safer here. And it makes sense just because of how the series has been progressing.
Yeah, he's also pulled out of gas, so he is focusing a lot more economically. I guess Royal Blood, as we were looking at it as we loaded in, is not a great map to go for a link flood as well. If we're going to be seeing any all-ins coming out from Dark, it's going to be much later in the game with tier 2 units.
Yeah, exactly. At least that's what we're kind of reading from this position, as the first two Oracles are zooming across the map. Third one is about to pop out to defend back at home. The Links show up, but again, the SimCity should be good enough here. The Links don't find too much damage.
And so Dark just takes this as an opportunity to drone up. You know, he can't get much damage done across the map. But he also knows he doesn't have to worry about any kind of overly aggressive plays coming out from herO either.
Yeah, exactly. As once again, Dark, he flexes his queen control and he defends beautifully here. The two Oracles haven't really done too much damage, but they're looking for it. They're still dancing between the bases, dancing between the mineral lines, looking for whatever drone they can pick off. As herO transitions quite quickly here out into a Forge, a Twilight Council, and a Robo.
Yeah, herO doing standard Protoss things for the time being.
Yeah, even going
I was gonna say, things are gonna slow down for now, but things are gonna be speeding up quite a bit as well. Really good flank here of Queens from Dark, getting rid of that Oracle. Just gonna be a little bit less annoying as this game continues.
Yeah, a bit of a slip up there. A little bit greedy of herO to try to go for that stasis trap. Will go down here for only 2 drones, so well worth it for Dark. Meanwhile, this is interesting. We have pneumatized Carapace on the way. Dark, he doesn't get Overlord speed without good reason.
That he does not, and usually that reason is to get a couple of queens across the map. There's no Baneling Nest, so, you know, Bane drop aficionados, sorry to disappoint you guys. We're not going to be seeing that this time. Instead, we're going to be seeing a little bit of a Deutsch taxi.
Yeah, you got to make the German taxis upon us. The Overlords are on the way. The Queens are about to be picked up, and Dark is going to be sending everything across the map once again. Going to be going all in. How many Queens do we have? 6 Queens so far. Roaches are on the way. herO did spot the morphing in Overlords, I believe. The Dropperlords even.
Yeah, that's quite a big tell here for herO, and he is taking this fairly seriously, getting even more shield batteries right at start base, getting a couple of cannons as well. Thankfully for herO, he was already teching into Immortals, but unfortunately for herO, the wall was not a wall. The Lings do slip in, and they are splitting apart the natural and the main base. Lings are streaming across the map along with these Queens, and the Ravagers are now out.
Yeah, even though herO saw this coming, he wasn't ready for the Link Flood, and that has caused a lot of chaos here. herO split up his attention between his third base and his natural, and now we have Priest Red. Now these Queens can even transfuse, and that was something that was missing in Game 1.
Yeah, wasn't able to sustain his RB because he wasn't able to transfuse, because he didn't have any creep out on the map. Now he does, and things are going to be looking a lot different. These vials are dodged, but there's still a lot of army here. Dark positioning his Queens at the front of his army did leave them very vulnerable to Zealots, and yeah, now most of them are gone.
I'm also worried because, mate, we have 3 Immortals. That's a lot of Immortals, and they've been chunking away at those Queens and Roaches, and they've been knocking them down. Overcharge is going to fall here, but we are running out of army.
Yeah, Dark is definitely running out of steam here. If you can get rid of the backbone of this army, namely the Immortals, then I definitely see him being able to overwhelm herO, but so far, the Immortals stand strong. Only one of them fell, and another one came out to replace it. But here comes the surround with Lynx. There really isn't much of a gateway buffer anymore for herO. There are still 2 Immortals standing strong with Guardian Shell. And herO, as this game progresses, his defense is getting tighter and tighter.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like herO once again has held here on his 3 bases. The Immortal production was insane. It was already so willing to produce them, and yeah, they were able to force Dark back, and he knows that he cannot end the game from here. He has to pull back.
Yeah, he was thankfully thinking ahead a little bit. His 4th base does seem to be a little bit late, but he did get the Hydra then fairly early on. You know, he doesn't want to be carrier 2 games in a row.
Yeah, and I love this. Dark has actually been actively spreading the creep. Like, he's just being as annoying as possible here with his tumors, just to delay any kind of would-be 4th base. And
Protection.
yeah, it will delay it.
For quite some time, yeah.
Yeah, we have to wait to make that observer. Meanwhile, herO, he's just going to be, with this win, or sorry, with this defense, going to be trying to capitalize on it and, you know, take his 4th base. herO, he even has a worker advantage. Ooh, even supply blocking Dark by quite a bit.
Yeah, at this stage of your Dark, you want to start making drones to make up for the fact that he was a little bit all in earlier on. You want to be macroing your way out of the situation and just trying to get as stable of an economy as possible. 61 drones ain't gonna cut it for the mid-game or even the late game.
Yeah, Dark has a lot of catching up to do once again, and I mean, at least he has been able to tech up, and at least his drone count isn't as dire as it once was in game 1, so the transition is going to be a little bit easier here, but we'll see what herO does with this lead as well, as he isn't transitioning into Skytoss yet. He's still sticking with at least Disruptors and a Ground Toss army.
Which is the remedy for Roach Hydra, at least for the time being. Once again, if Dark could just set up on a stable economy with 5 bases and 80 workers, something along those lines, then he'll be at a position where he can just throw Hydras at the Protoss army until he eventually wins. He hasn't reached that point yet, though, and so herO, with his Immortals, his Archons, and his Disruptors, he can find little vulnerabilities at Dark and just really make him have a bad day.
Yeah, I mean, Dark has not maxed out. He's essentially going for a follow-up all-in here off of 72 drones. Before that happens, a Zealot Run-By is going to slow him down. It's going to force his army back home. Meanwhile, that's a kill, not a cancel on the 6th base.
Oof.
5th base even.
Yeah, 5th, 6th. It's all the same in the end. It's a number I don't get to.
It's a number that's scorned, Papi. It's not.
It's a number that's too high, you know.
As the Hydra army is going to be pushing on forward here, the Disruptor count not really what it needs to be to deal with this, to zone it away. Meanwhile, the Zealots have also been pushed back here, so Dark is flexing his army quite well just because he has so much to work with. Unfortunately, these Zealot Run-Bys are still keeping him penned back.
Yeah, I would say that these Zealots have done a good job of distracting Dark, but the fact that they ran all the way back to hero's side of the map, and Dark was chasing them down, does mean that, you know, he is pretty close to the bases of herO. herO recognizes this, though, and so he's pushing out in the middle of the map, not to really get anything done, but to try to distract Dark and to try to get him to turn around his army.
Yeah, and here we go. We have an overcharge. Dark did split his army in half. 1 half to defend, 1 half to attack, and he's not really finding too much damage. He does get 1 disruptor.
And it's definitely a nice pickoff, but will it be enough? Ooh, a little bit of an unfortunate delay in the split there for Dark. He will end up losing a lot of Roaches and a lot of Ravagers. And now he doesn't have enough to fight these Immortals.
Yeah, exactly. His army got kind of caught out of position there, and he took a lot of Novas to the face. To be fair, herO doesn't have the largest army either, and there's that. This is what I was waiting for. Stargates and a Fleet Beacon.
Hell yeah. There's only one for the time being. herO hasn't really been able to get to his final form just yet. He is only on 4 bases, and he's been investing a lot of his resources, a lot of his minerals in robo units.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to take a while for him to start that carrier production, but what's scary is that it's on the horizon and Dark is not aware of it. He does have a Roach Hydra army, but he doesn't have a hive. He doesn't have a hive, which means he doesn't have access to Vipers.
Yeah, he just doesn't realize what herO is teching into for now. I think it is like you said earlier on, like he does just want to go for that round 2 all in and try to end the game on Roaches and Ravagers without getting into hive tech, but he's just not finding any way to do that for now. herO's making it so difficult for him.
Look how many disruptors there are. Like, how do you push in, Poppy? There's always going to be a Nova just coming at your face. You see Hydra's coming in from the left-hand side, almost getting a kill on that Nexus, but for the time being, herO is defending.
So what you do is you dive past Nova and you just take out the disruptor that shot its Purification Nova.
You're like, you just stim, Poppy.
Yeah, just stim.
Just stim forward and focus it down. It's easy.
I don't see why Zerg doesn't do this.
Dark being a little bit cheeky. This was pretty important. The drop into the main was designed to do some damage, but it actually scattered the Fleet Beacon. So now he knows, and now, I mean, at least we do have that hive on the way. Up!
Yeah, Hive and Lurker as well. A couple of really good Purification Novas, and then a couple of subpar ones. Dark realizes that he does have to give up a couple of his Roaches and his Ravagers so that he can get more Hydras and eventually a couple of Lurkers in order to defend. But he doesn't want to lose any of that too quickly. Very good pick off here for Dark, taking out the 5th base of herO.
Yeah, the 5th base of herO goes down. Doesn't lose many workers, but will lose the base itself. Meanwhile, herO finally also cleans up that drop in his natural base. He can focus on his defense. He can focus on his offense as well. And yeah, Dark should be working on Hydra, Lurker, Viper. The hive is now done. We haven't seen any Vipers yet, though.
Yeah, Dark is a little bit gas-starved for the moment, so he's trying so hard to get his extractors up and running. This base is of utmost importance right now for Dark. If he can keep it alive, he can win this game, but without it, things are not going to be looking good. Dark just lost 60 army supply in the blink of an eye, in the blink of a Purification Nova. GG is called, and herO takes that series 2-0. And I have to admit, like, it is nice seeing Dark play aggressive once again. We saw him playing a lot more macro, a lot more economic focus in the past couple of days. This series, though, he came out guns blazing, and it was great to witness. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out for him.
Yeah.
Against the defensive herO.
Unfortunately, GG, well played. herO, not just his defense, his reactions, his scouting was so good this entire series, being able to read the situation and prepare for what was to come. My condolences to Dark, as again, both games he went for varying different all-ins, but neither one quite worked in the end. And yeah, like even in game number 2, he was very reluctant to tech up into Hive. It was such a late Hive there. He was staying on Lair Tech on purpose for good reason, because he did want to overwhelm. But alas, once he realized that he couldn't end it there, like he was kind of punished for delaying for so long. And that final fight was brutal, because as you mentioned, like Dark had a concave, and then we saw like a fan of Purification Novas just spill out and just disrupt on everything. It was it was disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's crazy.
I love how you described it, because yeah, it is like one of those, fans that just spreads out.
It was inspiring to see as well, I imagine, for a Protoss player, as herO just so confident with his move out. Didn't even need the Sky Toss. He had it behind him, it was the transition was there, but his ground toss was enough at the time.
Really was. And if it weren't for all those disruptors, I really think Dark would have been able to turn that around. That was the pivotal moment there in that game, because herO killing that entire RB won him the game, for sure, but even if he didn't do that, if he was just able to take out the base and retreat with enough of his own army, then I think Dark would have later down the line just starved out as well. But yeah, herO was very decisive. He knew what he needed to do, and nailing all of those Purification Novas, that was just a cherry on top there.
Oh yeah, it really was, and that was really well done and well executed by herO. He was just looking a little bit better on the day here, and that's typically how it goes between these two. You know, it comes down to how well rested they are, whether they've eaten, whether they are ready for a night of StarCraft.
Yeah. KFC.
Whether or not they got that KFC, Papi. Let's go. And speaking of, we already have our next opponent. herO moves on to the next round where he's going to be facing a Terran instead.